In this video, we're going to learn about workflows in Mothernode CRM. We're going to have an introduction to them, learn a bit about them, how to set them up, and how they work. There's three components we're going to talk about when we're talking about workflows. It's going to be jobs, stages, and work centers. And as they're presented on screen here, you can see jobs are at the top. Each job has stages. Within those stages, there are work centers. Let's take a look at a sample workflow. The default stages that are in Mothernode CRM are pre-production, production, and post-production. And the work centers can fit into each one of those stages. So basically there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And each job contains a workflow that includes work centers that run through each stage of the job. In an actual order, you can have multiple jobs with multiple workflows that have different or like work centers. So each line item or each job can have a different workflow assigned to it. Work centers are easy to set up, but there's a couple things you need to know before you begin. Number one, not all work center settings are required. Depending on the purpose of the work center and the resources that are being used, not all settings in the work center edit is required. All time is based on hours, so when you want to calculate minutes or assign minutes, you have to use decimals. So 0.5 hours is 30 minutes, 0.25 hours is 15 minutes. Required capacity is the machine time multiplied by the quantity to be produced, divided by the base quantity. And the time required equals the required capacity plus the labor time plus the setup time plus the finish time. So these variables are used for scheduling, and they'll help Mothernode determine how long a job should be or could be in a work center based on the calculations on screen. You can also determine the days of operation for a work center, so Mothernode knows when to and when not to schedule that work center on your calendar. Capacity is going to help determine the resource availability and hours during a daily operation. It excludes any breaks or any periods of inactivity. The hourly rate is used if you want to track hourly rate in dollars, and they're assigned to the work center resource to perform the work in that particular department. This is not a required field. Machine time is the amount of time it takes in hours for the machine to process the specified base quantity. The base quantity is the standard quantity of product used to help calculate required capacity for a job. The queue time is the amount of time that the raw materials or components need to wait before processing. The labor time is the amount of time that is required to perform the work in the work center. The setup time is the time that's required to prepare the raw materials and components in that work center. The finish time is the amount of time that is needed to process the work in the work center at the end of the job. The move time is the time that's required to move the materials from one department to another. The start and end time are the open and close times for that work center, and the days of operation indicate when during the week that work center is available. Alright, in order to begin, I need to do two things in order to create a workflow. Number one, I need to create my work centers, and then I need to assign them to the workflow and put them into each one of the stages they belong in. So the first thing I want to do is create a new work center over here. Now you can see I already have some work centers, and these are all the different departments that potentially exist in my fabrication facility. Okay, not every single department will be touching every product that goes through or every job that comes through, but I want to have a complete listing of the ones that I have in there right now so I can build workflows for different situations, different scenarios, and different products. All right, so in this case over here, if I want to make a new one, it's very simple. All I do is click on New Work Center, give it a name, and then put in the relevant information that I'm going to need to use in order to schedule any work within this time. Now, as I said earlier, that not all of these variables are applicable to every single work center. That's up to you to determine which will be most applicable. Again, the information is laid out across the top here as to what the calculations are in order to schedule correctly. So you can see there, when you open this up again, you can apply what you need. Now, I would also suggest that you make time studies if you haven't already done this, to see how long specific products take to go through various departments, and this will help you find the numbers that you want to be putting in here. One last thing to say about this again is just remember that 0.50 is going to be half an hour, 0.25 will be 15 minutes. These are all run off of hourly increments, okay? So you want to use decimals to capture minutes. All right, I'm going to close this here. You can see what one of these looks like. When I click on this over here as an example, like I'm just going to say this one. Again, I have some information that is outlined here. This work center is going to be applicable to be scheduled Monday through Friday. It will not auto schedule over Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't mean that you can't override that. If you need to push work into Saturday or Sunday and it's not set to auto schedule to do that, you can drag and drop with the calendar and just move work into that. If you wanted to auto schedule during those times, then you can go ahead and do this as well just by selecting Saturday and Sunday, and now this work center will always be scheduled 7 days a week. All right, I'm going to close out of this. Once you've completed all of your work centers and everything has been set up, now you're ready to add them to your workflows and create new workflows. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go over here to my menu and I'm going to choose workflows. And then you can see I already have some workflows that are set up for a variety of different products. In this case here, I want to take a look at acrylic signs. This is a particular workflow that I've created for anything that is going to be deemed as an acrylic sign, all the potential workstations that can go through this. Now, keep in mind, your work centers can be skipped. So if there's a department that is optional sometimes, you can skip it in the scheduling process. But for now, I want to have a complete workflow that's going to be used for acrylic signs. So here you can see that I've created some. If I want, I can move them around. I can duplicate if I need to. I can remove if I want to add a work center to this particular stage. You can see I have my stages here, my pre-production, my production, and my post-production. I can click on add. I can choose from a work center, so I can do this here like this. And I can say select. When I do that, it puts it at the bottom of the list here. If I need to, I can move it up, okay? So I'm going to remove this. I don't want it. The other thing I can do when I'm adding is that I can create a brand new work center. Okay, so if you need to create one on the fly, and create one right here and go ahead and add that work center and then add more of the details on the other screen. Okay, so this will help you get the essentials that you need for scheduling. All right, I'm going to click close, and that is what you need to get set up in order to do your workflows. Now, the workflows themselves can be added in a variety of different places when it comes to scheduling. So you can pretty much add these workflows, put them in play in any job in almost every screen in the production process. Be sure to check out all the other videos that have to do with the workflow throughout the production process to help you out. Thanks for watching.